Well, 1928 Classic Yacht Euphemia II, and I'm doing a little freshening up of varnish in this area. You can't do the whole boat all in one go. I mean, that would take a crew, but I'll do this side of this panel on this side of the boat now, and then later in the summer I'll tackle the other side, and that'll be the refresh for so far. So use the scrapers. Lee Valley has these things, and you can use a heat gun with these too, because you got convex, concave, and flat, and they're all needed in this refresh. And then after I scraped, I did a total scrape on the bottom. So right in there, I didn't want to go too clean because I was starting to take off too much wood, and that's never a good thing. So I stopped before it got perfect, and gonna have to settle with the fact that it won't look perfect when it's varnished, but it'll look good. And that way, preserving the boat for the next guy. And then I did a light sand. I took off a couple layers of scrapers for the varnish for the rest of it. In this area here, there was dirt coming down from rain or something in here, and then somebody just varnished over top of it. I thought it was gonna have to go right down to the wood, but I got most of it off by going down about 5 coats of varnish until I reached the dirt. And I did a light sanding after I did a light scraping. So a couple of coats in scraping, a couple of coats more in sanding. And I'm gonna wipe this down, and then I'll put varnish on it. And I use Epiphanes. Any place where there's bare wood, and there are a few instances of that, use a highly diluted Vit to get into the wood, and then after that you can dilute less. And my experience is that'll look really good. The problem I had is that the varnish got to the point where it was crusting and bubbling and peeling and flaking, and at that point you can't just do a quick sand and put another coat on. And it was mostly down around this concave, around this cove bit down at the bottom there. It was too many coats, too much old stuff on there. So that's why that got scraped totally down to the wood, and the rest was just freshening up. All right, well, and put a coat on maybe today, and another coat tomorrow maybe. The varnish I've got is kind of old, and I'm worried that I shouldn't be using it, so I have diluted it to thin it out, but I don't know if I should do this special area of the boat with that. I might have to go buy another can. Yeah, I'll probably buy another can of Epiphanes and not use the old stuff, because this is too significant to be taking a chance on. And that's all teak in there. Previous owner told me it was $32,000 worth of teak on these 2 boards, because they're just solid boards. I didn't believe him at the time, but I went out and bought some teak recently for some trim, and it was $1,000+ for a little bit of trim. So now I believe him. So I'm not gonna put crap varnish on there. All right, back to work. So it's a day after that last prep video. I put a coat of varnish on last night, and then I hot coated a second coat of varnish where I was down to bare wood, so that would have 2 coats on it, and it's good. It's not perfect, but you'd have to get right down to the wood everywhere for that. And I got most of the streaking off that was particularly bad in this section by going down a whole bunch of coats, but not quite down to the wood. And it looks like the cove down there might be mahogany, I'm not sure, but the rest of it's definitely teak. I only say that because it's maybe it's because it could actually be teak. It's because I went all the way down to the wood in the cove, and I'm probably using a different varnish than the previous varnish that was used on the side of this, so that would have brought a different color out of the wood. But all that crustiness is now gone. It was particularly bad right out down here, and so it looks pretty good. You even see some burling in that teak there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I can do is just freshen that up every year. A quick sand and a quick coat of varnish take no time at all. And the objective is to get there with all of the boat. I still have some more crusty bits to deal with, so at some point you have to deal with that. because that's crusty varnish on there, so I'll strip that down to wood at some point, and most of the crusty stuff will be gone, and I'll keep it from getting crusty by freshening it up more frequently. So like, of course, over 10 years, if you put another coat of varnish on, you only get 10 coats of varnish. And it would even be less than that because you're doing light sanding before you do the fresh coat of varnish. So, and you'll never get crusty stuff. All right, so that's a success.